A chance encounter with a stranger. I am working on starting my own company. This means that even though I have several people working for me, I am personally overworked and underpaid. And I can't even complain about that because I'm the boss. Nevertheless, it should pay off 100-fold in the long run. Being obsessed with work is death to any meaningful relationship. If you're dating someone, they expect you to spend some quality time with them, and I seem to be chronically short on time. This means that any relationships I have are temporary, as long as they are friendly, but they aren't going anywhere. I had a rare day off, and while in between relationships, I decided to go for a walk at a nearby nature preserve. There were several reasons for this. It was a little chilly on the beach, I needed to stretch, and the nature preserve was a great place to meet interesting people. By interesting, I mean single, female, and probably available. You could stumble across groups wandering the trails, and often the odd person would come across who didn't mind pleasant company, or even mine if there was no one else around. I pulled up to one of the starting points and my timing was excellent. Just as I was parking, a couple buses pulled up and dropped off a couple walking groups. I just naturally signed up with one of the party, and we headed up the trail. This is where my luck stopped. There must have been at least half a dozen attractive young women at the party that I would have been happy to get to know better, but they all seemed to have boyfriends tied up. There were also a few slightly older, i.e., older than me, women and a few teenagers. While I didn't mind chatting with the slightly older ladies, I didn't get that opportunity. One of the teenagers glanced at me. Why she chose me, I have no idea. There were several sturdy young men in the group, and judging by the hostile looks I received, I'd say they were more than willing to accompany young Brianna. She had other ideas. Brianna was between 18 and 20 years old, and if I were to hazard a guess, I'd say in the upper end of that range. But with makeup these days, I wouldn't bet on it. She was your typical cheerleader or prom queen. Beautiful face and fantastic figure. One of your blue-eyed blondes who has a string of men drooling over her. The kind of girl a guy takes one look at and realizes he's out of his class. Like I said, she latched on to me, slumming around and talking. God, how she could talk. I was right about her age 18, right about her being a cheerleader, wrong about her being prom queen, and just about everything else I needed to know about her. Several of the young men in the group tried to divert her attention away from me, but they were completely unsuccessful. From my perspective, this was both good and bad. It was good because it was very flattering to my ego to have such an attractive young creature hanging on my arm. She almost tripped on the trail and decided she needed my arm for support. Too bad, because she was too young and naive. Heck, I needed a young lady I could get into bed with. Not one I thought I should send to bed. Seeing that there were several young men available who would be only too happy to help soothe Brianna's feelings, I decided that some mild shock tactics should get her to hurry to safety. Brianna, you did say you were 18, didn't you? I asked innocently. Yes. Why did you ask? Oh, it's just that being 18 means you're an adult and you play fair, I remarked. I beg your pardon? Fair play? For hunting and love. See where the path branches off ahead? I will take you down the left fork to a nook I know. Once there, I'll take off your clothes and make love to you, and you'll have to finish the walk crooked-footed. Oh, okay. Okay? Did she just say, okay? Talk about being caught off guard? I practically offer to sleep with her and she accepts? I apologize? Did you just say, okay? Well, yes. Isn't that what you wanted? I have to admit that I kind of had an idea that you were still young, I admitted. Are you sure you know what you're agreeing to? Well, yes, but I have to be an ex-girlfriend someday, don't I? I'm also pretty sure I understand your intentions. I was shocked. Nice young ladies just didn't act like that. I suspect Brianna caught my surprise as she continued to explain. Look at me, she said. I am young and beautiful. I have a wonderful personality and great social skills. I have a lot of friends, but that's all they are. Friends. All the good boys look at me and think I'm not in their class and don't try to date me. The losers and athletes don't care about me. They ask me out just to get a chance to score. I don't date them because you never know how some of these knuckleheads might decide to distinguish themselves. I would take my life in my hands to date any of these freaks." She took a deep breath, looking a little disgruntled. "I figured I'd find someone cute and let him seduce me. That way I'd know what love looks like. And maybe I could project that knowledge and get some of the more reasonable guys to date me. I'm not looking for a life partner, but I do want to find a decent guy. Someone smart and not afraid to get a damn job." "Okay, I can see where you're going with this, but why choose me? I mean, the offer I made wasn't exactly subtle." "No, it wasn't, was it?" She giggled. "Hey, get behind the bushes so I can make love to you, Bistro. A real smooth line. That's what showed me you're basically a nice guy." "Explain. I'm confused." "You were trying to scare me off. Anyone else here would have tried to talk to me behind some bushes, ostensibly to make out a little, but I know what they'd really want. Trying to chase me away showed me that you were a responsible person who wasn't going to take unfair advantage." "No, because I agree, and I know what you're going to do, at least in theory." Brianna stopped completely, and I had to stop too. She pointed down the path. "We're at a fork in the road. Are you going to lure me into a secluded corner to use my poor naked body while I cry and wail and beg for mercy?" I took her by the elbow and moved on, down the left fork. "I'm pretty sure I can handle the naked and adorable part of this scenario," I admitted. "Somehow I have my doubts that you can handle the crying, wailing, and pleading for mercy." To my horror, she immediately burst into tears. "What? Wait! You don't have to come with me," I said very quickly. The nasty little witch smiled radiantly, and her tears magically disappeared. "I think you'll find that I can handle crying and wailing if I feel it's necessary. I'm taking acting and drama classes and getting good grades, I assure you." "Give me a heart attack. Why don't you do that? Perhaps you'd be better off studying medicine. Then you could give first aid to your victims." "Huh. I just proved you have a soft heart, and you know it." I took her hand and put it against my body. She blushed and hurriedly removed it. "Okay, maybe," she admitted. "One point in my favor." We continued up the trail some more. I did know of a nice thorny corner further up this trail. A young lady had shown it to me one day. It's not easy to stumble upon it if you don't know where it is. I didn't ask her how she originally found it, as discretion is my middle name. We got to a place where 2 trees started to grow nearby. Usually in a situation like this, one of the trees would bloom while the other would die. In this case, the 2 trees seemed to merge together, resulting in a trunk about half a meter wide. Stepping off the trail, behind the merged tree was a short path that led to a small clearing hidden from view from the trail. I stopped there, turning to look at Brianna. "Take off your clothes," I told her quietly. "Ah, I thought you said you were going to undress me," she objected. "I did, but I thought it would be more fun to watch you do it. You'll be embarrassed, nervous, and not sure if you want to do it. You'll also find that you'll get very aroused knowing that I'm watching you, as well as knowing what I intend to do once you get naked." She looked at me, blushing. As far as I could tell, this was a deal breaker. If she couldn't undress herself, then I would refuse. Frankly, I thought she was building up her courage since she'd gotten this far. Just goes to show that I underestimated her. Again. Without taking her eyes off me, she unbuttoned her top and pulled it off. I suspected that what used to be a blush had now turned into a searing blush. Her breathing became deeper, and her lungs heaved as she moved. Her mouth was slightly ajar, and her teeth gently bit down on her lower lip. Unbuttoning her jeans, she pulled them off. Have you ever felt like a girl in tight jeans taking them off? It doesn't happen. They need to be pulled down, and it reminded Brianna of when she tried to pull them down. They didn't want to come off. Now her blush was back to a blush on her cheeks, an embarrassed blush as she struggled with her jeans trying to get them off. She was also reminded that you can't keep your shoes on when you take your jeans off. By the time she had her jeans and shoes off, she was half embarrassed, half excited. The fact that I was laughing quietly didn't really help, but luckily she has a sense of humor. She started laughing too. "Now you see why I didn't want to undress you," I told her. "Think how embarrassed I would have been to fight with your jeans." I looked her over from head to toe, nodding approvingly. She really did have a good figure. She stood looking at me, naked, hands behind her back, with an expression of excited anticipation on her face. I smiled back at her, slowly unbuckling my belt. Fortunately, it was easier for me to take off my pants than it was for Brianna to take off her jeans. After that, we made love. It didn't take long, and then I was pleasantly encased inside her. She now had a smug smile playing on her face and looked very pleased with herself. I just smiled back at her, giving her time to get used to it. After a few moments, I leaned forward and kissed her gently. We lay down on the grass again, and I just held her lightly against me, waiting for her to come to terms with what she had done. It took a good 10 seconds. She sat up, smiling brightly. "Well, that was interesting," she said. "I'm really going to have to do this again soon." I was about to offer my services, but she went first. "Not with you, of course. I don't even know you. But I'm sure I know a couple friends who would be happy to help me." "Oh, right," I said. I couldn't say anything else, could I? If she'd turned around and offered me a stallion fee, I'd have snapped her up. With those words, she jumped to her feet and began pulling on her clothes. She was fully dressed while I was still buckling my belt. It was the first time a woman had ever gotten ahead of me in getting dressed. After that, she walked, dancing, down the trail, stopping only to consult with me and make sure she was going in the right direction. I just clumsily splashed along behind her, feeling blown away by the axe and wondering what the hell had happened. "The end!"